Well, hello and good morning from beautiful Salzburg. We are happy to have you on board for our next webinar, how to scan and reconstruct complex ceilings. First of all, again, we want to say hello to everyone. We are expecting a lot of people today because we had a lot of questions coming in, our requests coming in when it comes to ceiling elements in general, how to work with them. As you might see, I'm not alone here. I have my sidekick with me because you know it's always good to be two of us. And I would rather say I am his sidekick and not the other way around. So maybe you say hello, Luca.
Good morning, everyone. So very happy to show you today some very interesting things that we know a lot of you guys are interested in. How our solution can help you to basically reconstruct complex ceilings.
Exactly. So what we find out, looking a bit through the attendee list, is that we have some experienced scanners and Metaroom users within the webinar, and there are some which might be new. So we're going to jump into our presentation a little bit in a few, or not a little bit. We're going to jump in there in a few seconds. Maybe having a few words about the company upfront, that you know how who you are dealing with. So let's jump into the presentation. Next slide, please, Luca. So Metaroom, what is Metaroom? Who is Metaroom? Basically, we are sitting right next to beautiful Salzburg. You see the nice old city of Salzburg, and now you see that big block where we are sitting in, which doesn't fit too much into the scenery. Where we are in the 5th floor, having almost 25 people, most of them working in Luca's team, which is research and development. And what you will see in the next I would say 45 minutes, it's all about what we did the last month, basically. Having the next slide, for all those people not being too much into Metaroom by now, maybe you tried to scan and export a little bit. I would say, like to recap a little bit what Metaroom is about. It's basically 2 steps. It's a whole platform. We are talking about the Metaroom Scan app, which is basically step 1. So you scan, basically 500 square meters as shown here in almost 20 minutes. We have a 1% of deviation, and we are able to digitize whole buildings basically in a snap by now. This is step 1. Step 2 is, where can I find what I captured? So first of all, you will get a notification after scanning after the reconstruction of a scan is done. You will get a notification by email saying, hey, your reconstruction is done. You will get a 2D floor plan showing everything. But then there is that web application, which we call Metaroom Workspace, where you are able to rework your whole 3D model, basically. You see all those detailed informations. You are able to see the KPIs of the building. You are able to take notes. You are able to add notes. You are able to rename things. And this is basically it.
Basically, Metaroom Workspace helps you to interact with the reconstructed CAD model. You can do all the exports. You can continue your workflow in your preferred target software. But it's not only to look at your data. You can also enhance the data, add details to the model, and do a lot more in here. And this is what we would like to focus in this webinar.
Exactly. So basically, for everyone being here for the first time, maybe, if you go to our YouTube channel, you would find even, let's say, former webinars where it's more about the essentials and how to scan, maybe. Today, we're going to focus pretty hard on how to rework the 3D model in the workspace. But again, find everything else on our YouTube channel to get educated there, or just jump into our calendars and book a meeting with us. Good.
Great.
Pretty much done until here. Let's jump in to the next slide, I would say.
Exactly. Maybe to explain a little bit. So what you can see here already on this picture is a simplified model of reality, and this is like all CAD models. It doesn't contain every detail, but obviously with our solution you can capture every detail in the environment or in the space you are scanning with a lot of precision. First, we want to give you a quick overview of how to scan properly in order for afterwards that you can use the data in Metaroom Workspace and add those details into your 3D model.
Exactly. So what you see now is a bit of a, I would say, a part of a scan we did some weeks ago, and where we are working with snapshots, to capture pictures we can work on later.
Exactly. So in this case, we want to capture the window. So we take, six snapshots, a lot of snapshots, the more the better, basically, to capture all the details. This was already it with the scan part. So you see, it's also quite fast to capture the details.
And same procedure is not only for windows, it's for beams, basically having on the ceiling. For all the light planners out there, it is all your luminaires, it is smoke detectors, basically everything which belongs either to the ceiling or to the walls, which won't be captured by the AI nowadays.
Exactly. Right next to the scan video that we showed you now, you can see one example snapshot that we took here, and you can also view them in the Metaroom Workspace. You can see here it's a picture, but keep it in mind, it's much more. Next to it here, you can see from the same perspective a screenshot that we took from Metaroom Workspace of this simplified CAD model that we are generating automatically. So automatically, without doing anything, you get a simplified model within minutes after your scan. Obviously, this is not perfect. We know that, but we can already see it contains a lot of details, like this kitchen cabinets. It contains already, so the wall on the back contains the slope of the ceiling and much more. But what we would like to show you today is a little insight of what we are really capturing, which you can see on the right. When you do a scan with Metaroom, it contains millions of single measurements that we are capturing in the background. And with those millions of measurements, together with Metaroom Workspace, you can recreate objects and details in a level however you like and whatever you need for your use case.
Exactly. Not comparing us with other, like I would say, pro devices out there when it comes to point cloud measuring. What we try to achieve from the beginning is to have a pretty fast solution to give you a model of the simplified reality. But
Yes.
we are on the way to enhance those models as much as you like.
Exactly. So working with this point data, I say, is very complicated. And that's also where Metaroom Workspace comes into play. It helps you handle this complex information in a very easy and quick manner. You will see it afterwards, what we're talking about.
See it in a second.
You see it in a second. So how to use this additional information? We would like to show you a workflow on basically how we can use this detailed information to enhance our scans and to basically make the simplified model much better. So the first step is always take snapshots during scan and capture areas that you are interested in as much detail as possible.
Again, referring back to YouTube, there is a tutorial how to use those snapshots while scanning, and even a webinar how to scan and even implement those snapshots there as well.
Great. Next step is to create auxiliary surfaces in Metaroom Workspace. So you can see already on the right where we created such an auxiliary surface. Basically, these surfaces represent the measurements of these additional details. They can be created in Metaroom Workspace and then be used afterwards, after export and import to your target software, there to use all the capabilities of this really great CAD programs. So they put a lot of effort in modifying 3D models and CAD models. You can use all the possibilities there to then fit the model, fit the CAD model to your needs.
Yeah, exactly. And if you see, if we are talking about import to target software, if you see those names now like Dialogs, Palette CAD, Cascados, DDS Cut, in general, I would say the Graphisoft environment, It is basically talking about exports when it comes to IFC models, where everyone tells you there is an IFC standard out there. Yeah, there might be, but still we have to adapt to every of those target softwares which we partner up with, which you will find as they're having their own IFC exports in Metaroom Workspace.
For us, it's really, so why we do this is because for us it's really important that you can make the most out of the data you capture. So for every target software, we need to tweak it here and there so that it really you really get a good result after importing our model there, and you can work flawlessly with it without any problems.
Exactly.
So enough of the talk. We want to show you now what we were just teasing all the time. So
yeah, I guess feel free to jump into the workspace. What we are going to show you now is basically two examples, an easier one and then a more complicated one, like to rework those snapshots, how to do it. And how they might look like in your target software.
Exactly. You can see the homepage of Metaroom Workspace here. We just go to our projects tab and into the two scans that we captured for the webinar. We will start with the simpler one, which is office meeting room here in our headquarters. And you can see after opening our model, it looks different now.
Yeah, for all those people being with us for a longer time, you might have seen that the Metaroom Workspace got a kind of an uplift, I would say. So just to give you a hint of why we did that, what we were facing, especially the last month, is that we had users scanning bigger and bigger objects in the end, and what we were facing were some, I would say, I wouldn't call it problem, but it was a bit too slow for what we are aiming for when all those sceneries were loading. So a special thanks to the R&D department again for making that happen. It's way faster now. You see that there is a bit of a new design which makes it even better to work with, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah, basically for everyone that is new to Metaroom Workspace, so when you open a scan or a model, you can see our basically model tree. So the structure of the model with Metaroom, we create an intelligent building model which is structured, so which goes from the building to the different floors, rooms, and you see all the elements basically in a hierarchical structure which belong to the different parts of the scan. In the middle, you can see the 3D view that shows you the model, how it looks like. On top, we have different tools that you can use. We also show the north exposition, which is north heading, which is captured during scan. And basically, let's jump in what we would like to show you now. As you might see, there are two snapshots in this scan basically based on the ceiling. If we click on one, you can see the images as we explained before, and you can see that there is a recessed ceiling in this room. And this is what we wanted to capture.
I think we have to go one step back. Talking about those snapshots, I think what people almost think is, okay, if I'm pressing on the snapshot, I'm opening a picture, which is basically right, but there's a bit more behind it, right?
Yes, so basically, in every picture, we also get depth information. So that is what we capture with our scan app. And by interacting, so this is not just a picture to look at. You might see that the cursor changes into this magic pen, and you can interact with those images. So we have the object creation mode, which allows you to create boxes, surfaces, or even additional snapshots. In this case, we select the surface tool, click on this recessed ceiling in order to create such an auxiliary surface. We see here that it extended a little bit too much. So this is AI assisted, but we have an interactive AI here, which you can basically also guide to tell it what you would like to have. In this case, the recessed ceiling. So you can see here, we captured it like from one side to the other. So we have the full width of this recessed element. We can name it here. So this auxiliary surface, in this case, we call it recessed ceiling. We can select an IFC type. In this case, it's not so important because it's just an auxiliary surface that we create here in order to then use it later. And save the 3D element. That's it, basically. We also do the same thing on the other side of the room with the second snapshot. Here you can see it even better. Wrong tool. But also if I misclick, I just select surface and I get the second surface for this recessed ceiling. Again here, pressing the Alt key, I can modify the selection that I have. So for example, I can put a red dot in here, which tells the AI, don't take this. Green dots always mean take this into account. So for example, I could also put another green dot here, and it will refine the selection that it does for me. In this case, we're already done with the second auxiliary surface as well, and save the second 3D element.
Exactly. I think what is quite interesting to tell here as well, for people who haven't worked with snapshots too much, we told you while scanning it is always good to make as much snapshots as possible. But even if you forget snapshots, there is a way to find frames out of the scan. What Lukas shows now is on the top toolbar, there's a button called Show Scan Path. What you see here is how the one who was scanning was running through, or walking through the room. You see the direction and you see those balls, dots, whatever you call it. Those are again single frames out of the scan process, which shows you maybe interesting pictures of what you still need if you forgot something. This is basically one way to find the frames on top if you missed some of those snapshots. But even working without the scan path is possible by just clicking the walls. If you double click an inner wall, on the right handed side it will show you all pictures related to this wall.
So showing parts of this wall basically.
Exactly.
And this works basically with all objects within our model. Also this chair, if I just click on it, I see a picture of the chair.
Yeah.
And with every image in our solution you can interact with. So basically here I could click on the chair and get a box that represents the chair. In this case we already have the chair, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it could basically be everything you want to recreate, either if it's a chair or if it's a plant pot, whatever it is. If it's interesting for you or needed for your planning, you would be able to recreate it somehow. Sorry for interrupting.
Exactly. So to continue our workflow, we talked a lot now. Actually, if we just would have recreated the auxiliary surfaces, we would already be done by a long time. So the next step in the workflow is to export your project. In this case, first we would like to show in Dialux how this can be, how this recessed ceiling can be recreated. So we select the Dialux export from the export menu, have the complete model here, and just click the export button.
Exactly.
In the background, the export is being prepared, and you can reach it either by clicking on this link here on the top right, or you go back into the main menu and the exports tab, and you see it here. It appeared now and it's ready to download. You click on download, the file is stored to your device, and from there you can import it into your target software. In the first case, we want to show in Dialux how we can recreate this recessed ceiling.
Exactly. So we're jumping back into our presentation where we just made a small screen recording of how to rework that part of the ceiling. So special thanks to Michi out of our sales team who was working with Dialux. We have to admit we are working with Dialux and the other CAD programs every now and then, but we are we are not pros at it. So what we did here is just recreated the ceiling and fast forwarded the video a bit just to give you a hint of how fast and how easy you could rework the ceiling.
Exactly. So at the beginning we wanted to show an overview of how these auxiliary surfaces are basically brought into Dialux. And now continuing with the video, with the screen recording, you can see that after a little bit of processing working on the model, you get a really nice result that resembles reality very well. So in this case, we use the auxiliary surfaces to basically estimate or to find the dimensions of this recessed ceiling. We add some lights, and basically we are done with having this room as it is.
Exactly. I mean, for you guys sitting in front of the computer now, what you're gonna say? Okay, that was an easy one, right? That was two surfaces you created and reworked it in Dialux. Of course it was. It was just to show you how the best case scenario could look like. But we brought another example.
How fast it is, basically.
Exactly. We brought another example, which is, I would say, a bit more complicated.
Let's have a look at it.
Exactly. So what we see here, since we are working, I don't know if it's the right translation in general when it comes to architects and energy consultants, there's a lot of sloped ceilings out there in the world, and how to rework that in terms of setting a roof on top of it, or having all those beams running around somewhere and recreate them. What you see now here is basically looking like an attic with full of Smarties somehow.
Yeah, I'm giving you some impressions like of this environment.
But still, it's a good time point to see what you can do with those snapshots. What you see here, you can add different colors to it. So differentiate them already while scanning, or even afterwards, to say all green, or the green color is for all beams. The yellow ones is for
we used it differently. So yellow for all beams, red for the ceiling elements, and green were just some general snapshots that we took. Yeah, let's start. So to show you another new feature of the new Workspace release, we have here some kind, it's called filters. And we can use it when you look like at this model, it's quite complex. So you have a lot of elements in it. And you can use it to filter down this view of the model. For example, I want to work with the yellow snapshots now, starting with the beams. I select snapshots here. And under properties, I select the yellow tag, which then gives me here all the yellow snapshots, and I can quickly work through them. You can see they are also highlighted here in the 3D model. In this case, I'm working with this snapshot. So let's get it on. We try to recreate the beams in this model. In this case, I use the box tool because it's a square object. And I select, in this case, for the box mode, we have different perspectives of this beam, which were not only captured with the snapshot, but also through our basically automatic scan frame capture. And we can then basically in an interactive manner recreate this beam, which is here in front of this wall.
Mm-hmm. So while Luca is preparing everything, some of you might have been in a one-to-one meeting with us already, where we showed it a bit deeper, I would say. In this case, taking a snapshot, and if the snapshot is on a beam, or it is on a column, or whatever is interesting for you. If you take a snapshot and afterwards you scan a bit around that object, the AI by default will give you not only the one picture where you made the snapshot of, but even more on top, like 3 or 4 more, showing the object you snapshotted out of different angles. So you can rework not only through one picture, but even to 3 or 4 pictures. But this is shown in a tutorial as well, and makes it even easier to recreate those objects and being closer to, I would say, the original measurements, right?
Yes, so here a very quick side info. We can see we have like a beam that is somehow slanted. Also, it has a weird angle. And you can see when we use the box tool, you get like some selected points out of these millions of measurements that have been taken in the scene that then help you to basically recreate this slanted beam. And you see after a few clicks, basically we have it here on the right position with the right measurements.
Exactly. Just a quick reminder again, if you have open questions, feel free to add them in the Q&A section, because we're gonna be in the Q&As in 10 minutes from now, I would say.
Yes.
And please don't be too shy to ask questions, because there's only interesting questions for us. Even if you think they might be asked by someone else, feel free to ask them. So the goal from what Luca is aiming for here is, of course, to have back a roof into the model afterwards in your target software, which we and how do we get there? I mean, what you can see by those pictures there, that there is a lot of different angles in the ceiling, which Luca will start to recreate in a few seconds. Yes. Again, we are not pros in your target software, but you guys are the pros there. So it might be even faster and even easier for you to recreate all the objects in your target software. And there's a lot of beams.
That's a lot of beams, yeah. I'm happy that I don't need to measure them all. So looks good. So I'm almost done with the beams. Obviously, like I'm not putting a lot of effort in doing them really precisely, but you can if you like. So if your use case requires it, but you can see here already, like we recreated all those beams in a matter of minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's go on with the snapshots, with the red snapshots, which show the ceilings. In this case, I can reset all the filters. It will show me again the whole scene. And I can do the same thing to filter out the red snapshots, in this case. And go through them either one by one, or I just select them in the 3D view by just clicking on them. And in this case, for this slanted roof, I use the surface tool. And again, with one click, we get the auxiliary surface. In this case, also the beams are just auxiliary surfaces, which help us recreate it later. Save the 3D element, and I'm done, basically. Also here, the more complex ceiling parts. I forgot to select the surface again. It's very easy to use. It's very fast to use. Here we have the top part of the ceiling. In this case, the AI is not selecting what I meant to select. So I just want to select this central part here. But I can always tell it, like, I'm not interested in this part. I'm not interested in this part. Please just give me like the central part. I can also put multiple green points in it. And then I can go on from here, and it will restrict the selection basically to what I'm looking for, like this. And you see also in the 3D model, this auxiliary surface is created on the right spot. I have another thing here, another part of the ceiling. Save element. We're almost done. So two more surfaces and we're done.
Yeah, and again, showing you the pros of what we are doing here is basically a question of how accurate you need it. I mean, to measure those different types of ceiling, of slanted ceilings with a laser or however you do it would take a lot of time, and by taking snapshots it's basically reworked in a few minutes.
Yeah, just to show you the results. So basically we have different angles here for the ceiling, and if this is, we just want to show a very complex use case, but with these auxiliary surfaces we can recreate in an instant every angle, every corner, and yeah, you can use it then in your target software to refine the model. So we are done here. We recreated all the surfaces. Remember them all. You will see them again. No. In this case, we're going to export the file to one of our newest interfaces that we recently released, to Cascados or ECAD.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Henrik, you want to say something
basically,
about it?
We were asked for a new IFC here when it comes to energy consultants who work with Cascados and even ECAD. And we digged a bit deeper into it. And yeah, we released that 1 month ago, I think it was, more or less. And our team member Michi again did his magic. And this is quite interesting because what we see here is exactly the model Luca just reworked. And talking about Michi, who recreated it basically, or reworked it here in Cascados, he just got introduced to it the day before, I guess. Mm-hmm. And even here, he was pretty fast in recreating the whole roof in a few minutes, not having worked with that CAD software ever before.
Exactly. I think it took him about 20 minutes, mm-hmm. But it was the first time he used it, so we just got a quick introduction on how to create like these roofs. And you can see, like, for every auxiliary surface, he's recreating one of those roof elements. So also here, this software Cascados helps you in like cutting the walls automatically. So yeah, you can see the different steps. So you can use the auxiliary surfaces to then modify the inclination and the height of the roofs where they belong. And he's basically just recreating all the parts.
Exactly. And as far as we know, this should somehow work with almost every CAD program out there. Again, this is where you are the pros. I think the better prepared the model is, the easier it is to recreate it afterwards. And yeah, what you see here is more or less the pretty much done model already.
Yeah, so basically we remodeled all the floors, so it's quite a complex scene. You can see it was remodeled in every detail, also with the beams. Yeah, and that was it basically. So it's very easy, very fast. Also during scanning, like just taking a few snapshots, a few clicks in Metaroom Workspace, a few clicks here, and you're basically done. You have recreated. I'm still amazed by it. Maybe you can hear it. Like you have recreated a really complex scene, and I think it's great.
And that was really when we were searching for a complex scene, Michi found this one, right? Where we, like, to be super honest, in the beginning, we're afraid to work with it because we thought like, oh, there's a lot of different angles in it. But finding out that it's quite easy afterwards. And as we are working like with older buildings all over the world right now, you might have a lot of those attics or third floors, however you call it, compared to the first example we showed you, which was quite easy. But to sum it up again, basically everything is possible as if you know how to do it. And if you have further questions to it, please address us, book meetings with us, take a look at the YouTube channel, again said for the third time now. If there is open questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A section. We are pretty much done with everything we wanted to show you. What we know upfront is that it was a lot of information, again, compressed into 35 minutes now. So everyone asking for a record of the webinar, no worries, you will get a link in a few days from now with the webinar where you can re-look into it or have another look into it. And of course, jumping into Metaroom Studio, which might be quite new for some people of you, it is quite intuitive, I would say, and it is easy to work with. But if it's a new tool, you have to try it. Okie dokie. I think we can jump back from the presentation to the cameras, right? We are back already. So it's on us to take a look at the cameras. Our producer here always shows at us with the finger because we are looking at our laptops, which I am doing right now because I'm looking at the questions you were asking on the left side. So then don't get distracted by me looking down there. Let's jump into the chat where we face some questions as well. How did you deselect, basically?
Yeah, I think this was regarding this green dots, red dots were in the selection tool. So basically you can use two modifier keys here. It's shift to add additional positive points, so what you would like to select, and for the red points, which should be excluded from the selection, you can use the Alt key.
This is for Microsoft users, Windows users. Right?
No, it's for every system. So for Apple, the Alt key is called Option key.
Exactly. Yeah. just to mention it, because there are some Mac users out there searching for the Alt key.
Yeah.
And you won't find it.
There are also hints in the UI. So in this object creation side pane, you can also find the information of how the modifiers work.
Exactly. Please, and what we were aiming for to say in the beginning already, which I forgot, there might be people out there not having a scan or even not an Apple Pro device to take scans. But you're very welcome to just hit metaroom.mrex.ai and create your account there. You will find a demo room where you can try everything.
Yeah, you can.
You can play with all those surfaces, boxes, creating them, recreating them, take dots away, add dots, whatever you like. So that was the question over here. Let's jump back to the FAQs. So Attila asked the first question. There's a cabinet on the scan. Can I remove the cabinet from the picture if I want to redesign the space?
Okay, I think you want to remove the cabinet. It has been recognized as a object. It has already been automatically recognized, probably. Mm-hmm. So you can always remove it from the scan. So there are multiple possibilities where you can remove this along your journey through Metaroom and your target software. So you can either remove it directly before you finish the scan. Mm-hmm. So we have an edit mode in the scan app where you can remove objects that are not of your interest. Mm-hmm. And then you can also remove it for the export, where you can, for example, select that you want to not have the complete model with all the furniture in it, but just the room geometry, if you want to remodel the space. So there is a special mode during export for that. Third option is to remove it in the target software.
Exactly. As Lucas said in the beginning, we are trying to make those export models as good as possible. So we are not just like transferring a kind of drawing. Basically, it is single objects which you could delete. And having Lucas said that it is possible to delete things before or still on the cell phone while scanning. It is basically the last step on the cell phone before you send it to the cloud into the reconstruction. There is an option called
edit first
or finish. And in the editing mode, you are able to click on every object on the cell phone, on the iPad basically, and remove it. So if you want to get rid of single objects, do it right there, and then it won't go into reconstruction. It makes everything faster and easier.
Yeah.
On the way, I would say. Good. Then there's another question. Is it possible to export the models in millimeter instead of meter?
This is an interesting question. We get it quite often. So in this case, the target software usually offers an option to define the units. For example, we get this question a lot when people are using AutoCAD. There, just for your project, as far as I know, you just need to select that you want to have a different unit, because we export intelligent models which don't have like the units baked in, but they are added as meta information to the export. So the target software, in the target software, you can do whatever you want with it, and the scale remains as it is.
This is right. On top of that, a question which comes more often, especially in the last weeks, when you are from the US, for example, because you are not working with the
meters,
metric measurements, but more with the imperial measurements. There is a possibility in Metaroom Workspace to export your models in imperial measurements, if this is the right one. We are, as we are speaking right now, working for a solution to change from metric to imperial in the app right now. So this will happen in the next
you always say 2 weeks.
days, I would say in this case. No, we'll see, but we're working on it, so don't get frustrated. There is a way, at least already in the workspace, but we're gonna have it in the app in a few hours. Again, can you merge the surfaces you created in the workspace to each other to create only one ceiling?
Right now, this is not possible to merge surfaces because it's only meant to support you in the target software. So it's not, for now, it's same for now, because it might change in the future. For now, it's just meant to create like some hints that you can use in the target software. So it's not meant to recreate the whole ceiling in every detail in Metaroom, but just recreate parts of it that you can use in your expert software that has all the greatest ceiling creation tools.
Exactly, because at least then you would have to recreate it anyways.
Yeah.
Because we are transferring those surfaces or those boxes basically as placeholders, I would call it, right? So at least in your target software you would have to recreate it.
That's also why we call it auxiliary surfaces. They should just support you in recreating it. They should not be a placeholder for the ceiling itself.
How do you remove floor area above a stairwell?
This is very interesting. So you could also use like these helping surfaces in this case to basically mark the boundaries of your of the open area above the staircase, and then in the target software remove it from there. So remove the floor from there.
This answer is right.
Again.
Basically we are already done with all Q&As or with all questions. So if you still have some questions left, there is 1 minute left to ask them, and we would be happy to answer them. If not, I'm going to write my email address in the chat.
Did you already post the link for the scanning webinar?
I did not.
Okay. Great. Yeah,
So if you have any further questions, feel free to drop me a line, send me an email. On top of that, I'm going to add our YouTube channel where you find all other helpful videos, which is this one.
I think it's a lot to process now. We showed people a lot of new possibilities that I guess a lot of people don't know yet because they haven't looked into Metaroom Workspace in such a detail, but it offers a lot to explore as well.
Exactly, there's a lot to explore. Okay, being done a bit earlier, which is good for us. There's some things we have to work on. Anyways, there's only one last thing to say for us. It's thank you very much for joining us again, and hope to see you next time. Goodbye from Salzburg.
Bye bye. Thank you.